Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Today's recitation is from Rag Asa. The composition is of Bhagat Ravidas Ji, the third in this series of compositions by Ravidas. In this passage, Ravidas Ji speaks about the impact of the right company, being in the presence of the virtuous, also is transforming. It's one of the injunctions in Gurmat is to seek satsang, the company of those who are on this path and those who have actually hit the milestone, to learn from them. And so he begins pretty much by laying out the fact that he is a neech rukh, a lowly tree. And then he refers to the self as Chandan, sandalwood, which is known for its aromatic fragrance. And so he says, Tum Chandan ham irand bapure. You are the sandalwood. I am the casted tree, the lowly casted tree. Sang tumhare basa. But if I am placed next to you, or if I keep your company, or in your company, what happens to me? The neech rukh, the lowly casted tree. Neech rukh te ooch bhaye hain. I become elevated. How? Gandh sugandh nivasa. Fragrance. So a casted tree is usually odorless. It's not considered as valuable as a sandalwood, which is known for its fragrance. It spreads its fragrance, adds to the aesthetic value of its surroundings, and it makes for a desirable tree to have. So it has a positive influence, in other words. So Bhagat Ravidas is addressing the self that is already placed within us, and the castor tree as the lowly ego, which by itself is not valuable. That's the central idea of this passage, as we see in the Rahao verse, which reads, Madho sat sangati saran tumhari, ham augan tum ho upakari. O Madho, O beloved, protector of the world, the one who is in the midst of us, Madh. O Madho, I seek your protection. Saran tumhari. Saran is protection, shelter. Saran tumhari, ham augan. I am without virtue. Tum upakari, but you are beneficent. In other words, your nature is to give. So I seek your protection or your shelter because you are the storehouse of all virtue, of wisdom. Tum makhatul suped sapiyal, ham bapare jasakira. You are spotless, silk-like a white swan. Tum makhtul suped sapiyal. A swan is a symbol of wisdom. Wisdom meaning here, using the symbol of a swan, discernment, to be possessed of discernment, to be able to discern truth from untruth, right from wrong. So you are spotless, Ravidas ji says, like a white swan, meaning you are wisdom, and I am but a poor worm. Hum bapare jasakira. And again, Satsangat mil rahe madho, jaise madhup makira. May I remain in the association of the true congregation, O Madho. This is an ask. And serve and love you like a bee loves honey. So this verse continues the same theme of using metaphors to illustrate what are spiritual concepts. So when you compare yourself to a lowly worm, while likening the divine to a noble person or a spotless swan, you are seeking transformation, transformative power of good company. Ravidas ji concludes by saying, Jati ocha, pati ocha, ocha janam hamara, Raja Ram ki sevna kini, keh Ravidas chamara, says the cobbler Ravidas. This verse can be read in at least two ways, possible ways. One is Bhagat Ravidas declaring, I am of low birth. Because he was a cobbler, he was considered low birth, a Shudra. Ocha janam hamara, I am of low caste, jati ocha, and I have no lineage to speak of, pati ocha, because I have not served the Ram self, Raja Ram ki sevnakini. But it seems to me that the refrain ocha, which means low or offensive or mean, is applicable to all of us. What he's really saying, it seems to me, is that we are of low birth, meaning our ego is mean, is offensive, because we have not imbibed the qualities of the self. So left to itself, the ego is of the low-born. It seems to me that is perhaps closer, because we know that Ravidas has already mentioned in the first verse that Neech Rukhate Uch Bhaye hain. I have already become elevated. So here he's saying, I am mean because I did not serve you, but in the verse above he says, I have. So this is applicable to us. He's saying, if you don't serve the self, your ego will remain mean and offensive. So humility is what is being sought here, what is being asked for, the humility to be able to assimilate virtue, because you have to empty yourself out. And humility is the corresponding virtue of the sin of pride, because pride is full of itself. So you have to empty out yourself. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.